Well, what's up, everybody? Great to have you join us today for another Speed Phenom Series event for Season 2. We get to continue our California swing with round number 3 at Willow Springs International Raceway. This 2.5-mile road course is one of the oldest of its kind in the U.S., and I am stoked to see how these drivers fare with it. At the California Speedway Oval for round 2, it was Tim Fiegel grabbing the win out there in entertaining fashion, winning with a last lap pass over Louis Dubois. This win vaults him up to P2 in the standings, just behind Daytona winner Tim Simmons. Both of them starting out the season the best way possible, and the two Tims, along with the other 26 Phenoms in the field, will have a challenge ahead of them. Will each of them get to collect a repeat win, or will we go 3 for 3 in different winners? We'll find out soon as we get to go green for the second straight time in California. And as you look on your screen, it was a top 4 sweep by Toyota drivers in qualifying for this race weekend, being led by the 14 of Eric Sadler for his first Phenom pole. Then you also got Matthew Hubert, Benedict Murdo, and Sarah Taylor in the other 3 positions. It's all been Fords that have gone to victory lane in rounds 1 and 2, so maybe the Toyota drivers up front might have something to say, or maybe could it be a Chevy or a Dodge driver that could break through. But 60 laps await us. We'll have to see how kind this road course can be to this field. They approach the line. There's the green. Off we go for round number 3 at Willow Springs. Out of turn number 2 they come. The locals call it the Rabbit's Ear. That's what that section of the track is. And here they come up to turn number 3. Budweiser balcony as the 23 Hubert slips up a bit. Could that give Murdo a chance on the 44 to get by him, perhaps? The 23 trying to stay ahead, but Murdo is determined to get the second position away. They go through turn 5 into turn 6, this left-hander. The Toyota driver still 1, 2, 3, 4. Sarah Taylor tries to hold the rear of that position right there ahead of the 16 of William Ayers. Murdo and Hubert, a fierce contest for position number 2. Through the sweeper they come for the first time today through turn 8 and then turn number 9. And you can see that 14 of Sadler. He's just loving what he's seeing behind him, but as well as in front of him. And it's going to be Eric Sadler who will maintain the top position at the end of the first lap. He will get it. And on comes the ticker. Murdo will officially claim second. Hubert will drift back to third. Taylor facing pressure from Ayers in fourth. And Nicky Martinez up to sixth in the 43. You also got Will Parrish in the mix, another one of the Toyotas, along with Alex Daniels, Louis Dubois, and Griffin Labo McDermott rounding out the top 10. As we'll go through the rest of the field right here, there's the Daytona winner, Tim Simmons, finding first spot to get into the top 15. To go up to Budweiser balcony again. Where's the 94 of our California winner, Tim Fiegel? There he is, all the way at the back of the field, fighting with last place with the 66 of Isaac Davis. So both Tims not necessarily getting that great of a start this afternoon. Of course, they didn't have that good efforts in qualifying. But now it's still top 4 for the Toyotas. And then the Chevy of Nicky Martinez has broken through into the top 5 over William Ayers, as Will Parrish follows behind the 16. You see the cars go through the sweeper section, all under control. Thankfully, there's a good amount of grip in this place for these guys to be making moves. Logan Williams trying to pass Angelo Del Vecchio right there as Aiden Graham gets a little bit loose right there. And through the Rabbits here, Martinez may have that opportunity to get into fourth over the 45 of Taylor. Looks like she'll take it. The two lady drivers duking it out for positions 4 and 5, but Taylor's not wanting to give that up. And it looks like Martinez in the Chevrolet may be the one to break the stranglehold that these Toyota drivers have in the top 4, make that the top 3 now. The 43 is by. Taylor falls back to 6th. And it looks like throughout the rest of the top 10, it's more stability that you see these guys getting in single file, except for this little battle to get into the top 10. Derek Hamill wants to take that away from Louis Dubois, who just lost that win at California with half a lap to go as Tim Fiegel made the winning pass around him. So Dubois was denied victory last time out. Now Dubois wants to maintain a spot in the top 10. We'll see if Derek Hamill can maybe get that position, and he's going to off the final corner, turn number 9. He'll look to get that position from the 92, and he'll bring Daniel Voiles along with him in the 26. Voiles up to 11th. Dubois falls back to 12th after he was in the top 10. And there is Tim Simmons trying to creep his way up into a top 10 position. So the 97 looks to be on a mission to advance as well. And Martinez may not be done yet. Here she comes for the third position underneath Matthew Hubert. And it looks like for the moment she's going to take it from the purple 23 machine. And ahead of this battle, I can't give enough props to Benedict Murdo enough. He's hardly had any good luck on the SRS side, but it's great for him running on a track that he's specialized in and running up in the second position. But now Hubert and Martinez still side by side trying to determine who's going to be third and fourth as Sarah Taylor looks on in this battle. Same thing with William Ayers and Will Parrish as the 74 gets a little bit sideways out of Monroe Ridge. Down the hill to turn number 6. Looks like Hubert is going to hang on to that third position for now. Might give the 45 enough of a chance to run down the 43, but no, she's just going to tuck in behind that auto value car and just ride behind her through the sweeper. And here's all these other guys in the top 10. We'll try and look at another side-by-side position for battle, which is going to happen all the way back here between Henry Thomas and Hergel Alonso. That's only for 25th place. But as you see throughout the rest of the field, everybody has found their place, if you will. And they're just going to ride single file and get comfortable with their cars as this run goes on. And Sadler, almost 1 3/4 seconds over that 44 car. Looks like a possible exchanging of position in the top 10. Here's Will Parrish trying to overtake William Ayers for P6, and it looks like he will get it done out of the Rabbits here. And then number 74 Toyota trying to advance a spot, and the 16 trying to prevent that loss of position, but he's not going to be able to. Parrish is going to clear him, and Voiles is going to tag along with him in the 26, and he will clear the 16 also. Ayers loses 2 positions, drops back to 8th, but still after the rough week that he had at California, not being able to make it all the way on fuel and settling for a poor 27th place finish, this is a good bounce back upward for William Ayers at least. And behind him, here's Alex Daniels running really good. He hasn't had a smooth start to the season as well. Got caught up in that big crash at Daytona, but still carrying on nicely in 9th. And here's Griffin Lapo McDermott in the 75, trying to hold on to the top 10 position over Hamill. But as they cross the line, Ayers will be down 2 spots. Out of the Rabbits here, the 43 and the 23 side by side again for position number 3. Martinez was unsuccessful the first time around, but I think she may have the inside line to her advantage. And yes, Martinez will clear into the 3rd spot with Hubert falling back to 4th. Going into Monroe's Ridge, trying to follow the 43. Hubert trying to keep the loss to a minimum, but that Chevy of Martinez, easily the biggest mover in the race from 8th up to 3rd. Now she's only got 2 more Toyotas to attack. Murdo right ahead of her there, as well as Eric Sadler, but obviously with anybody catching that 14, it's just about an impossibility right now because that car is just hooked up right. Points leader Tim Simmons has dropped even further behind. He is now fallen back to 17th, running right behind David Richardson as he goes out of Monroe's Ridge. But yeah, Simmons and Fiegel, the top 2 of the points coming into this race, just not quite set up for what this track has presented them this afternoon. And Simmons and Fiegel, they're just in damage control mode at this point. And basically you can say the same for all these guys running 17th on back. Here's Caleb Rose, who finished dead last at California after crashing out. He's running 18th, followed by Ryan Reed, and then Jack Davis rounding out the top 20. Then there's Angelo Del Vecchio, Aiden Graham, Angel Gutierrez. He's also had a sluggish start to the season. He desperately wants to turn things around as well, but unfortunately he's just not in a favorable position to do so as well. Then you got Logan Williams, Hergel Alonso, Henry Thomas in 26th. He's had back-to-back top 10s to open up the season, but he's stuck all the way back here. And there is the 94 Fiegel, who went to victory lane just a round ago. Now he's running in 27th with Isaac Davis rounding out the field in 28th, 18 seconds behind. Approaching lap number 20 now, and you can just see how far Eric Sadler has checked out over the rest of this field. And he wouldn't necessarily consider road courses to be his forte, but obviously he's doing a phenomenal job at controlling the field here on this 2.5-mile road course. We are at lap 20, 1/3 of the way through this race. His margin over Benedict Murdo about the same, though just under 3 seconds. Murdo was able to cut a 1/10.5 off. But it's all calm, cool, and collective for the majority of these drivers. And going to the very back of the field. Oh, look out here. Here's the one of Henry Thomas on lap 20, making a pit stop here. And he will take tires and fuel aboard that number 1 car. So I do wonder, could this possibly be a sign that pit stops may be looming here at Willow Springs? We'll need to see for sure. But Henry Thomas is going to be the first to blink. He goes for an earlier stop, and I believe the 92 of Louis Dubois, he may have done the same as well, but we just didn't catch it. So the 92 and the 1 are going to be the first 2 drivers to head onto pit road, and we'll see what option Eric Sadler and the rest of these drivers will have when they get back around again. And way back here, looks like Tim Fiegel's going to make the next move in the 94, pitting at the entrance to lap 21. And he will do what the 92 and the 1 just did. That's the third Ford driver that has come down to make a stop today, but all these guys have chosen to stay out. So you see a couple side-by-side battles happening on your screen, but now Fiegel, he is the third driver on pit road. We'll need to see how much this undercut will pay off for him, as well as Dubois and Thomas. Now Aiden Graham for the 22nd spot. He is also going to make the move to pit road as well on lap 22. So it looks like most of the guys running towards the back of the field are electing to pit first, while many of the front runners, they're choosing to play the long game and stay it out a little bit longer. But heck, I mean, I give full credit to these crews and these teams running near the tail end of the field. I mean, why not try something different to maybe throw the leaders off their game and try and short pit? But here is the 92 of Dubois, who is first out of that group that has already come down. He is 40 seconds behind, at least the previous time by. Bolton pulls away out of his pit stall. And the margin right there for the 92, 37 seconds behind. So Dubois in that one lap did gain 3 seconds on Eric Sadler's time. As there goes Thomas, Bolton, Graham, and Fiegel. You see, most of these guys, they're going to elect to stay out here. Nope, never mind. The 74 of Will Parrish also comes down. And I do believe Alexander Rowe will also join him. And yep, several more coming down. David Richardson, the 48, will also join the 74 and the 24 this time down. Now here comes Martinez to the inside of Murdo. She's trying to threaten the second position away from the 44. Towards turn number 3, the 43 and the 44 side by side. It's been a while since Murdo's had any competition for that spot. It looks like that time may have arrived. They go by Budweiser Balcony, and you can give the advantage to the 43, the Chevy of Nicky Martinez, up to the runner-up spot. But on the flip side, this is all happening over 3 seconds behind Eric Sadler. He is just cruising away with this race. And there goes the 44 Murdo heading towards pit road from third place. On lap 30 of this race, he will elect to pit right here along with Griffin Lepo McDermott. So finally, we see 2 of the top 10 runners head for pit road, as well as Ryan Reed in the green 31 car. And there's the 92. He has already caught the top 15 after pitting early and choosing to utilize that fresh rubber early in this run. And he is definitely making the most of it. He's likely going to get past Jack Davis and Angelo Del Vecchio this lap. It would be a surprise if he wasn't able to. And yeah, he gets by the 0-2, and he's going to get by the 85. So Dubois gaining positions already, and these guys haven't even pitted yet. Coming to the line next time by, Eric Sadler will officially conclude the first half of this race, and he will likely get the bonus point for leading the most amount of laps today. A dominant performance this afternoon here at Willow Springs International Raceway. And hang on, he's actually going to make his way towards pit road. Same thing with Nicky Martinez. How about the other guys back here? Nope, Voiles is pitting. Taylor, Hubert, and just about everyone else in that line. And the first half will conclude once Sadler crosses the line right there. He is the leader at halfway. And there goes Louis Dubois. He's the only one staying on the track. He has already long since pitted, and he will take a commanding lead once this cycle has passed. Will Parrish will inherit second, followed by Henry Thomas, Alexander Rowe, Jeff Bolton in fifth. Then you got Aiden Graham, David Richardson, Tim Fiegel, Al Muccioli, and this is likely going to be 10th place. Nope, the 66 of Isaac Davis is going to take that position. And there goes Sadler off pit road. Nick Martinez right on his tail in the 43. She's already going to be opportunistic and get to his inside, but she will be on the outside line going through turn number 2. Martinez was able to run down The 14 is Sadler. Once she did get past Murdo, it looks like Sadler will be able to stay ahead of the 43. Then you got Murdo, Logan Williams, Gutierrez, Lepo McDermott, and Boyles all running back here. So staying out longer, looks like that's what's going to hurt guys like Simmons, Hubert, Hamill, and Daniels. Caleb Rose, Angelo DeVecchio, Jack Davis. He will be the last on the track, but we will have a new leader for the first time this afternoon at the end of lap 31. Louis Dubois, when he crosses the line, is going to inherit that spot. As the 92 continues to lead, this has definitely been an interesting one today. Despite there being no caution flags, we've seen a lot occur over these first 32, now 33 laps. But Dubois, he officially holds a margin over Will Parrish by 3.33 seconds. So that's the difference that the 74 is behind the 92. But if we continue to stay green for the rest of this race, how much will it benefit the guys who have pitted later? And look at this, the 44 Murdo has gotten around Eric Sadler. So this will be for the 12th position. And right there, Murdo, right there, he has taken it. So it looks like out of the guys who have pitted the latest, Murdo may be in the catbird seat among that bunch, followed by Sadler, Williams, Martinez, and Lepo McDermott. But again, Dubois, he doesn't really consider himself to be a road course ace, but now thanks to strategy, he has put himself in a great position. And look at this, the 74 Parrish has eaten into the lead by the 92. Parrish under 3 seconds behind. And how about the 44 of Murdo? He goes from 22 seconds. We'll have to see what happens when he crosses the line here. What kind of margin will he shave off? 21, so just about a second a lap. But hey, I mean, we do have 26 laps to go, so there may be a chance that Murdo or Sadler may get to the 92 if we continue to stay this way. If I were Louis Dubois right now, I would honestly start to worry because Will Parrish has arrived. He has cut the deficit down to just over 1.6 seconds, but at the line this time by, I wouldn't be surprised if that margin was closer. And I do believe the older tires may be starting to rear their ugly head on the 92. And Parrish, I'm sure that margin is shorter now. Yes, 0.39 seconds. Parrish is there in that 74, and he is bound to get that 92 for the lead in this lap, if not the next one. So Parrish, remember, he pitted on lap 24, I believe, and Dubois only pitted on lap number 20. Oh, man, yeah, that 74 has to get him sometime soon. Parrish has too good of a car to do so, as the Pennsylvania driver in the Toyota looks to steal the lead away from the Louisiana driver in the Ford. And check out the 24 of Alexander Rowe. He may also throw his name into the hat here of possible winners. He might catch the top two before this thing is over and done. Oh, but look at this here, the 92. Dubois heads for pit road on lap 37, and that's going to give Will Parrish the lead. And you also see the one of Henry Thomas. He is also pitting with Dubois. So the 92 and the 1 going for a two-stop strategy here. Oh, and this is quite questionable in my opinion. I would have maybe waited until closer to halfway like these guys going by before making a pit stop, but now this is going to cost those guys more time. 20 laps to go this time by. It is Parrish and Rowe 1-2. They have a good-sized gap over third place Jeff Bolton. And as they cross the line right now to start lap 41, we'll go over the rest of the field, see where your favorite driver's running. So Bolton's in third, as I mentioned. Richardson in fourth. Muccioli fifth. And then Aiden Graham sixth. But Tim Fiegel, who was in seventh, is going to pit at lap 41. So he's going to make a second stop and sacrifice valuable positions doing so. But that is going to bump Eric Sadler up to seventh, which he will inherit, followed by Benedict Murdo, Isaac Davis, and Griffin Lepo McDermott. And then behind him, you got Martinez, Boyles, Taylor, Williams, Gutierrez in 15th, followed by Ayers, Hamill, Reed, Hubert, and Daniels in 20th. And then the final 8 cars, Simmons, who's under pressure from Delvecchio, who's going to muscle that pink 85 past the 97. Then Caleb Rose, 23rd. Jack Davis, 24th. Then Dubois, who just made his final stop of the day. He's 25th, followed by Henry Thomas, Tim Fiegel, who just came off pit road, and Hergel Alonso. Oh, wait a minute. What's going on here? The top two of Parrish and Rowe head for pit road on lap 43. Same thing with Alan Muccioli behind them. The top three, head for the pits with 17 laps to go. And look who's coming down the straightaway to retake the lead, the 14 of Eric Sadler. He will inherit that position, not at the line, as Parrish was able to lead at the line that time by. But this is interesting. Not even those three cars are immune from having to pit a second time. And the dominant car of this race, he led the entire first half of it. Eric Sadler back to the point in that Iowa Hawkeyes Toyota. Murdo will inherit second, followed by Lepo McDermott in third. Then you got Martinez, Boyles, and Taylor, the top six, excuse me. Then you got Ayers, Logan Williams, and Angel Gutierrez rounding out the top 10. But that is strange. The 74 and the 24 are back on the track. Same thing with the 28 right there. We'll need to see how well these two stoppers will fare compared to everyone else who pitted halfway. And check this out. Here comes the 44 and the 75 down pit road now. Coming up to 15 laps to go. Benedict Murdo and Griffin Lepo McDermott both sacrifice second and third as they make their final stops of the afternoon. Anybody else joining them? Yes, Ryan Reed, Alex Daniels. They join him with 15 laps to go, but that leaves Sadler all by himself. So there goes the 44 and the 75 pulling in. But man, oh man, so many strange pit strategy calls being played out here at Willow Springs. As the 44 goes ahead of the 75, the 8 pits and the 31 pulls away. But I am just bamboozled by all the varying strategy moves that we see before us today. But as you see on your screen, nobody is around the 14 to touch him at all. Martinez is way far behind. But now this makes me nervous. Can Sadler even go the rest of the way without having to pit again? But in regards to pit strategy, I believe most of the top 10 has made their bed. Now it's time for them to lay in it. As Sadler, Martinez, Boyles, Taylor, Ayers, along with Hubert, Delvecchio, Rose, Davis, and Henry Thomas, I think they are going to try and go the rest of the way without stopping one more time. But with the 24 of Alexander Rowe charging hard, I think that's going to be very tough to do. Same thing with Will Parrish and Louis Dubois. Those three cars, I do believe they are the highest three who have come down twice. Tracking the progress of both Alexander Rowe and Will Parrish, they have made it up into the top 10 now, running in positions 8 and 9. But look at how good that 24 car is. There goes Rowe by Delvecchio for position number 7. And he will do just that. And heck, he might even get the 23 of Matthew Hubert by the time this lap is over with. But that 24 and 74, I'd say, are the two strongest cars on the track right now. Everybody else has to baby their way around this road course because their tires are more worn out. But up front, that 14 of Sadler still untouchable. He has at least a 5-second gap over Martinez. Well, never mind. Daniel Boyles looks like he's moved up into second. Looks like he might have gotten around the 43 car somewhere around the racetrack. But Boyles will be your new second-place man. And there in the background, the 24 of Rowe and the 74 of Parrish do get by Matthew Hubert, so move both of them up 2 more spots. And that should put car 24 up to position number 6, over 9.5 seconds back. Now Rowe and Parrish have run down the cars ahead of him. William Ayers in the 16 right ahead, but Parrish, he wants to try and make a move to get around the 24 himself before too long. Up into the balcony, turn 3, turn 4, left-hander, right-hander, Parrish, he may have an edge, as I think the 24 did touch the 16 right there. 3 wide into Monroe Ridge. The 74 and the 24 splitting the 16. Check this out. And they are going to make it work somehow. Magnificent racing for a top 5 position, but they are going to dispose William Ayers. Rowe is going to stay ahead of Parrish. Now Sarah Taylor may be the next victim in that 45. We have just gotten word that points leader Tim Simmons has been involved in an incident on track just a lap ago. There he is running by himself, coming out of the rabbits here. He's just going to get a little bit high, get off of the groove, onto the dirt, and check that out. All the way up on the right side goes the 97 Ford. Thankfully, he doesn't roll it over. He lands back on his wheels again, but not before suffering a lot of left side damage onto that Midland Radio car. That's going to cycle him back to dead last, I'm afraid. But that could have been much, much worse. Thankfully, he is still going, but the point situation has just gone out the window here at Willow Springs. We likely will have a new points leader by the end of this one. Now Alexander Rowe is going to take this chance to take third place for Martinez in an easy pass by the 24, going by the 43. Rowe will climb up into a podium position, and he's doing his best to maintain the gap over the 74 at the same time. But Parrish, he'll use the strength of that Toyota Camry to get by Martinez's Chevrolet. So Martinez loses 2 positions. She falls down to 5th. Now it's just the 26 of Voiles and the 14 of Sadler left for Rowe and Parrish to catch up to. 4 laps to go now. Voiles has done a good job keeping Alexander Rowe behind him thus far. Rowe trying to find every which way to get around the 26, but he goes a little too high in turn 2. This could open up the door for Will Parrish to go underneath him. Which driver will get the better of the 26 of Voiles? It's just a matter of time. Wow, look at the dive by the 74. Up the hill into the right-hander of turn number 4. It looks like Parrish may get them both. At least for now, yes, the 74 is clear. Parrish up to 2nd. Rowe struggling to get around Voiles. Through Monroe Ridge they come. Voiles gets passed by both the 74 and the 24, and that could have been the opportunity that Parrish needed after following Alexander Rowe lap after lap. He'll do his best to reel in the deficit behind him in the 14. Here's Martinez trying to hold the top 5 over Taylor and Richardson. Through the sweeper, there's the 74 and the 14 up ahead. Eric Sadler, victory, so close for the 14, but you see that red and blue cars in 2nd and 3rd starting to creep towards him. Sadler over the hill at turn 7, and in his rearview mirror, that 74 and the 24 are getting closer and closer. Sadler knows that if he wants this win today, he's got to hold off 2 strong contenders on older tires if he wants to pull it off. Through the sweeper, into turn 9, we will have 3 main contenders for this victory today. 2 Toyotas, 1 Ford, 2 laps to go with the line. Here comes Eric Sadler. How long will he keep Parrish and Rowe at bay? I don't believe it will be that long. That 74 is just able to get through the corners so much stronger than the 14 can. But what can Alexander Rowe do as he looks on the top 2? Oh, Sadler, he should have stayed on the bottom, but he's not able to. Into the lead and through goes Will Parrish, and Alexander Rowe's going to follow right behind him. Eric Sadler gets drop kicked back to 3rd. And I honestly don't see the 14 being able to recuperate from that. Those 2 cars with the stronger, fresher tires they have, I don't think the 14's going to be a match for them anymore, which means it'll be a 2-horse race here for the win this afternoon. Just a handful of miles remain of racing here today in California. Parrish and Rowe have left Sadler and Voiles in the dust for the top 5. How about Jeff Bolton rising up through there in the green 38 car? He steals the 5th position away from Martinez. Richardson looking on as well in the 48. But what can Alexander Rowe do with Will Parrish? Both of these drivers trying to fight for their first ever Phenom Series win. Off turn 9 towards the white flag. Will Parrish crosses the line over Rowe. 2.5 miles left of racing today. Out of Castro Corner just fine. The 24 trying to mimic whatever line the 74 is running. Don't forget Rowe was in front of the 74 for several laps after their last pit stop, but trouble passing the 26 of Voiles is what allowed Will Parrish to get away and on through to the lead. But for Rowe, he should not give up hope yet. He has to try and force Parrish into a mistake through Budweiser balcony for the final time. Monroe Ridge is the next set of corners that they will be going through. Less than half a lap away from the checkers. Rowe trying to close in, but he's only doing so ever so little. Over the kink again. 2 more turns remain. Will it be Parrish or Rowe? Rowe will have to hope that Parrish swings it wide through the sweeper. But I think Parrish is holding his line just fine. For the final time, into turn 9 goes the driver from Pennsylvania, and I think he's got it made from here. 3 straight first-time winners to open up season number 2, and it'll be Will Parrish picking up the win today on the road course here at Willow Springs. And look on pit road, Alex Daniels with a destroyed race car. He must have encountered trouble somewhere along the track during that last lap. But anyway, the checkered flag has fallen for that man right there, the number 74 of Will Parrish. executing a masterful race, scoring his first ever win here in the Speed Phenom Series in just his third ever start. He stayed patient, he stayed focused, and he stayed diligent when riding behind the 24 for all those laps until this very corner right here, where he capitalized on the opportunity to get by Rowe and Boyles in what would be the pass for the win. Excellent job for Will Parrish, holding off Alexander Rowe by 0.33 seconds. Eric Sadler, who led the most laps today, still gets a career best third, but he wishes it would have been 2 spots better. Fourth place for Daniel Boyles. How about Jeff Bolton, his first ever top 5 finish in 5th. Then you got David Richardson 6th, Nicky Martinez in 7th, Benedict Murdo 8th, Sarah Taylor 9th, and completing the top 10 is the 16 of William Ayers. But again, with your points leader Tim Simmons finishing second to last, we likely are going to have a new face atop the point standings. We'll have to see how Will Parrish will be scored into the final points after we calculate those. But as he comes into pit road, he's going to meet up with his very excited team, and all credit is owed to both Parrish and crew this afternoon on the job they have done, working their way up to this race win. And as the 74 works towards its pit stall, we have to check on what happens to the number 8 of Alex Daniels. We'll get a replay for you, folks. So here is Alex Daniels after already taking the white flag. Going through the rabbits here, he slips up high a little bit. Is this going to be like the 97 a few laps ago? Yes, it is. Off into the dirt, into the bank, and he's going to roll it over and over many times. Goes the 8 of Alex Daniels. And right on his roof is how he's going to land. Man, what a shocking way to end this race. I do hope he is all right. Well, Jack Davis may have a little competition after this. This is the second car in 3 rounds that we've seen go for a flip. And you can just see the crowd in turn number 2 witness this terrifying ride by Daniels as he goes over 5.5 times before it's all said and done. I'm sure that's not quite the way Daniels pictured his afternoon to go here in Willow Springs, but I am glad to say he did climb out of the car under his own power. He was a little bit dizzy after that, but in all worse for the wear, he is A-okay. Thankfully, the onboard camera stayed intact for you folks. Watch Alex Daniels take a wild tumble through the California dirt. And as we conclude those replays, that means we are officially wrapped up here from Willow Springs International Raceway. It did go caution-free, but with all the strategy and all the pit calls that happened, I think this one had everything to keep you tuned in all the way to the finish. For round number 4, we're going to be going back east to South Boston Raceway over in Virginia. That'll be our first short track race of season number 2, so we hope you catch that one when it comes your way. Here's the remainder of your finishing results and your point standings following round 3. One more congratulations to Will Parrish on being the 3rd straight first-time winner in the Speed Phenom Series. And we'll look forward to seeing all of you at South Boston for the next race.